Hello there, Aries. Happy New Year and welcome to your January 2018 reading. I hope that this month is getting off to a great start, and I hope you had a great holiday season as well. I'm going back to my normal forecast format for all of the signs, so that means 12 videos and, again, the usual format, not the abbreviated one that I was doing in December. I like to begin with a little bit of channeled information. For your sign, as I was tuning in, the one thing that came to mind was you might have to be doing a little bit more work in either investigation or getting to understand people's motives in January. This is actually going to help you be more compassionate. So I want you to kind of take a pause before you make any major decisions or before you react to information or maybe people's behavior that you're observing around you. Take a moment and either try to empathize with them or ask for some information on how they came to that decision-making process. So through understanding, and I would also probably put on here research, you're going to be able to exercise compassion. But it is something that is going to come with work, not necessarily as sort of like a reflex. So that's the channeled information for this month. We're going to go ahead and shuffle the cards and we'll take a look at the main forecast, plus, of course, the catalyst card. And then after that, I'll expand it to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. So let's give this a good shuffle. And we'll see what the cards have to say. Two large things that are coming through here are really, it's about relationships and money. But before we get too in the weeds with that, let's go ahead and take a look at your catalyst card. And I view the catalyst as a connective thread, which will give us a little more context on what we're seeing and works in concert with that channeled information. So I'll give this a nice good shuffle. And okay, so we have this metamorphosis card that's coming through. And the interesting thing with this one, a little bit more nocturnal than like a butterfly as well. So for some things, I really want you to sleep on it. That's really the message that I'm getting with this. And if you're feeling stuck or if you can't quite, again, understand or relate to someone, give yourself really a night to think about things, and you'll come at these situations or these challenges refreshed, renewed, and hopefully in a place where you can transform the situation. And that's really what the moth is telling us, is through quiet time, through meditation, not through action, it's actually through pause that the change of mind, change of heart, change of energy will happen for you. Beautiful card and a really sort of gentle transformative energy that's coming through for you this month. Let's go ahead now and see how this all basically is shaping up with the cards. Right at the center, you have the Lovers in reverse, and it's crossed by Judgment. And really what these two cards are suggesting, or really asking you to look at, this card is one that is out of balance, and it's asking you to look at how much energy you're putting into relationships in your life. Are you getting back what you're putting in? If you're not, it's also encouraging you to look at yourself and see if there's anything that you're not happy with. Because when we're in a place where we feel like we either need someone else to complete our sense of happiness, or we need someone to balance it out, then it's actually a little bit of a codependent relationship. And the way you can remove the codependency is to build the skills and build the emotional strength within yourself so that you're complementing rather than completing. So that's one message here. It's also about putting limits. Judgment is a card of decision making, and sometimes difficult decision making. But just like that moth card that we saw, it's transformative in this deck. I have a couple of tarot decks that show like different sorts of metamorphosis going through, like a phoenix. This one reminds me of that. But this is a dove, which also shows peace. So maybe for some of you, this is about saying, I'm tired of vendetta, or I'm tired of holding a grudge. I talked about that in a meditation that I did recently. And so finding peace or finding forgiveness could be a powerful way to let go of some of these emotional ties that are holding you back from finding other relationships in your life that could be really beneficial. So take a little look at yourself and the relationships around you, find the balance, work on strengthening your own sense of self-worth and also independence, and that's going to benefit everything around you in your life. As we look at what's affecting you from the deep past, we see here the Six of Cups in reverse. The interesting thing with this is it's saying you might have your priorities askew. And this is really about friendships and personal relationships and how you're balancing all of it. I usually see the Six of Cups as a pretty good card, but in this case, it's saying, are you putting too much of your power or energy or time into a relationship that's not giving back to you? That's why we see this this pine tree topsy-turvy. And so I want you to work on grounding yourself really around the beginning of the month. Practice this on New Year's if you happen to watch this over the holidays, because I'm planning on posting these a little bit early. So from December 25th to the 31st and even into the 1st, I really want you to focus on thinking about what is important in your life. Pick 2 or 3 things and think of these as tent poles or pillars or anchors that are going to hold you down, and make these your focal points for the month so that you know what's important and you can kind of gauge things, especially with your relationships, by what's important. Your most intimate relationships could come into conflict, especially around weeks 1 and 2. Remember, though, that peace is what you're trying to do, either forgiveness or facing what's causing the challenges and hopefully overcoming it. This is a card of success. You know, some of the other judgment cards can show, you know, either letting go, moving on, or possibly, you know, completely letting something fall away. This one is rising above. So I want you to rise above the initial emotions you might have, again, to get even, to be angry, to hold hatred or regret. Rise higher in your frequency, and that's going to help you solve, hopefully, whatever is kind of interfering or creating separation between you and your most intimate relationships. This could have to do with money or direction, because the World card is, and also we have the Wheel of Fortune here, so we have 2 cards that are about change. The World card upside down is saying that there's a really big change that's happening that might have taken one or both of you by surprise, especially if it's a personal relationship that's sort of on the rocks. It could also be about you needing to find your own truth. And the Wheel of Fortune card is supporting this change. The World card in reverse is about you holding on to maybe a past version of yourself. You know, like when we're a kid, we look to the future and think, I want to be this when I grow up. The older you get, the more you realize, maybe I want to do this, or I didn't know everything that I thought I needed to know when I was a kid. So see the version of yourself constantly under revision, under improvement, under renovation. And just because you once said you were going to do something maybe 10 or 15 years ago, you're allowed to change your mind, especially if you've worked towards that goal, maybe accomplished it, and haven't found a sense of satisfaction there. I want you to really look at self sort of sufficiency is the big other message that's coming through this month. The Empress card, or sometimes the Emperor card in reverse, is about, do you hold the power in relationships and also in your life? Some of you might be ready to step out and to create your own business. You might be tired of working for other people. This card is saying that that's something you can explore, and especially when it comes to money, or to take a more vocal or active role in how you manage your finances or your career. Same thing with relationships. Not to give away power and not to allow someone to manipulate. This is typically I should say it's a sign to divine feminine energy. I really don't like to kind of assign some of these cards to genders, but I would say it's divine feminine energy. So if there's someone in your life, either a woman or a man, that comes through as nurturing, but sometimes too nurturing or too invasive and kind of getting into the middle of everything, like a helicopter mom or dad, this card is saying, again, put up some limits, say no, or create some distance if that's the case. I really want you to focus on your energy this month. When I look at the environment card, it feels like some of your ability to execute your plans, your goals, even your responsibilities might be off because energetically you just don't know where to find the energy. So really look at your sleep and wake schedule and your diet. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Good self-care is going to be essential for this month. When I'm looking at areas of tension, this can be hopes and fears and things to avoid. We have the Daughter of Wands card in reverse, and this is really about not letting go of something that's important. So whether that's morals that you hold to, and that, you know, someone could be challenging what you think is right, you know, stand firm to that. That's important. Sometimes it's good to kind of be headstrong, and in this case, that's the information that I'm getting. The other thing is to not be afraid to ask difficult questions or to challenge people in your life that, again, may have either motives that you don't understand, because remember, we want to go to moving away from emotions and getting data, getting tangible things before moving to a decision. So ask the tough questions. You don't have to do it in an argumentative way. You could say, I want to understand how we can finish this together. I want to understand your decision-making process on this. Walk me through it. Help me understand why you decided to do this, because right now I don't get it. That's a nice way of going and saying, you can convince me, but I'm not there yet. And that at least gives a person an opportunity to know that you're open to feedback. Ultimately, this month is going to be one of opportunity, but it's sort of hidden opportunity, or if you're not careful, you could either miss it, or just like we see with this deer here, you could sort of like scare away someone because you're coming on too strong. So that's where I want you, if it's an interview or if you're interviewing somebody, I want you to be gentle with some of this stuff too. You can stand firm, but you don't have to come at this as a sort of like authoritative, my way or the highway. So let me kind of look at this quickly before we go into the expanded forecast and see if anything else comes through. I would say for those of you looking for relationships, new relationships, I would hold back this month. It really is a month to get your money and your own personal sort of health and energy balanced out. If you have met somebody new, make sure that you agree on things like money, material goals, and I would also say just practical matters. This is a month where practicality is sort of ruling. So for you, you're going to have to make sure that you can overcome some of those core values that you might have that someone could call into question. Again, the big thing with health is to take care of yourself. And I think these are the main things. I'm not that worried about money. You end up on a pretty positive note. And we have both the Wheel of Fortune upright and also the Daughter of Pentacles here showing me that possibly new job opportunities coming through, or a good investment, or you're going to at least get some control or understanding over your money situation. Okay, let's go ahead now and expand your forecast. We'll begin, of course, with the health card. Health is an all-inclusive thing that includes your mind, your body, and your spirit. But let's see what the general message is with health this month. So we have a card here that basically is saying this is a really good month to talk to doctors, particularly a nutritionist, looking at how you're fueling yourself. And I think this is key for energy. I am not a doctor and you should talk to someone, but it could have to do with, are you eating enough protein? When are you eating your meals? And are you getting enough exercise to kind of jumpstart all of this? So a combination of diet and metabolism are important, and you should reach out to somebody for this. The other thing that I'm just getting with this card is looking at sleep, and that was the main message that came through, was to really take care of your sleep-wake schedule. All right, let's now look at your wealth card, and wealth is an opportunity card. It can include things like work, school, investments, but it can also just be about your relationship with money or power in your life and how that affects these things. And so we have this father card, which can loosely be tied to Emperor as well. But what I would say is don't be afraid to ask a mentor for assistance in matters of work, money, and school. So this is a month where you are sort of conceding that you may need assistance, you may not know everything, and you want to go to someone that you can trust, someone that can nurture, encourage, and point you in the right direction. And also maybe help you hone in on your skills. Also a good month to possibly decide to take a class if you want to. This is a skills card as much as it is a mentor card, okay? So don't be afraid to get the help you need or to get the training you need to make the right decisions with money and with work. Now let's take a look at your relationship card, your love card. Love, of course, can start within, but let's just see what it's saying here. So we have voice, and this card is really saying don't lose yourself, don't lose your voice. The card was reversed when I pulled it. And also make sure that everybody's voice is being heard in a group situation or a family situation. So take that as you will, but I will also say, as I'm looking at this, if you almost imagine these as vocal cords, the main thing here is a very spiritual sort of thread that's running through it. So back to what I was talking about with the judgment card is take it to a higher place if you can. Don't exist in the lower frequencies or the argumentative sort of energy, because that pulls you down and you can't go higher. All right, now let's take a look at your final card, which is destiny. The Destiny card is a trajectory. If you like where you're going, stay with it. If you don't, this gives you an opportunity to do a course correction. So your Destiny card right now, we have this Divine Feminine card. It's called the Woman here, but it's really showing divine femininity. I see divine feminine energy as just as big a partner in the creation as the divine masculine. Sometimes the divine masculine is the idea, but the divine feminine is the execution. And so what I'm seeing for you over the course of January and over the course of 2018 is allow things to take hold, okay? So maybe you've been sitting with an idea of who you want to be. And this could be a dream, this could be something that just came to you as a flash of intuition. This can also just be something that you really feel this burning desire that you have to explore. So whatever it is, you've already started it or you already have an understanding for it. Now allow for this to happen. This is the year of nurturing the idea, of nurturing this future version of yourself, just as a mother would a child, just as a woman would create. And so we all have divine masculine and feminine. I want you to really embrace the divine feminine in January, and I would say throughout 2018. This is going to not only allow you to get closer to your goals, but it's also going to heal society right now, because we all need to allow for that energy to permeate. It's coming out one way or the other. So if you allow for it to happen now through your meditation and through your own again, nurturing side, then it's going to allow for you to really take advantage of a shift that we're seeing not only culturally, but energetically. Okay, let's now go ahead and review everything, and we'll see then if there's anything else that comes through as I'm wrapping up. All right, so the overall message here was to get the information that you need to exercise compassion in your life. So the key to compassion is understanding. The way you're going to understand is do research, ask for time, wait a little bit before making a decision. That's why we got the moth as the catalyst. It's a nocturnal insect, and it's a transformative insect, because just like a butterfly goes through chrysalis and metamorphosis, and you come out of the situation better than you went into it, and also with a different knowledge. So sleeping on something is going to be very, very helpful. Taking one day to sort of like soul search before deciding to do something could make the difference between disaster and a wonderful ending. So please do that. Take time, understand things. Don't jump to a conclusion too quickly. As we said earlier, relationships, particularly intimate relationships, are going to be very pivotal at the beginning of the month. It's important for you to put boundaries down, but also more importantly for you to heal yourself and see where things are balancing or not balancing out. One of the key areas is self-sufficiency that you want to be working on. The other thing is to understand what's important to you. If you don't know what you want, other people won't. And some people could actually take that and basically use it to their advantage. So know who you are, know what you want, and then people will have a harder time trying to control you. Go with the flow. The World card in reverse it often comes up when people are afraid of change. Change happens. It's the only thing that you can almost count on, is that things will always change. Move with the flow, because it's bringing prosperity to you this year if you allow it. You have to work on self-care, making sure that you have enough energy. Stand true to your values and what's important, but don't do it in a way that could scare off or repel a great opportunity. Ultimately, your money situation and also your relationship information should end up in a place that's suiting or satisfying you towards the end of the month. When we look at health, really focus on your sleep and wake cycles, and talk to a doctor if you need to, if you're not feeling the energy that you need. It could have to do with how you're fueling yourself. That's why the nutritionist card is coming through. Or there could be something else not right with your metabolism, and only a doctor can help with that. Seek out mentorship and or training opportunities with your money and your career, also with school. This is just as much about getting assistance as it is about nurturing yourself and maybe going after something that you care about. Speak the truth, but speak from a higher place. Try not to get involved in the darker energy or the arguments. Make sure that everybody's voice is being heard so that we can pull this card in the upright position instead. And finally, embrace this nurturing energy that we see with Divine Feminine, the creative energy that we see with this. Creativity requires both divine masculine and feminine, but this is a year and a time and an era right now where divine feminine energy wants to be heard, and particularly for your sign and particularly for January. So embrace it and know that overall that means a boon to creativity. It means that you can heal relationships. It's interesting that we get that mother and feminine card here, and we also have that with the Empress card. And so what I would say with the Empress card is to make sure that once you love yourself, once you can take care of yourself, and once you're nurturing, you won't be seeking out those sort of maternal relationships with others, or those perhaps issues that you've had with mother relationships in the past. So that's a big area of karma that you can release this month. So that brings this reading to a close. I hope you found that you gained some insights and hopefully the information that you need to navigate this month successfully. If you'd ever like to schedule a one-on-one appointment with me, now's a great time actually. I've put a lot of availability on the calendar for January, and there's a couple of special offers that will be in effect until the 31st of December. And after that, I still have a couple of new appointment types. I'll be experimenting with the 45-minute reading at least through January to see how successful that is. So take a look at my booking site. I'll put a link below in the description area. Also, if you've ever found these videos helpful and just wanted to support the channel, this is also a great time to give back. I have a couple ways to donate, either through my website or through Patreon, and there'll be a link below. I'd love for you to keep in touch with me. So if you're on social media, you can join me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And also, I have a newsletter, which is a great way to know when I offer special offers, or if there's anything newsworthy going on, or if there's a new meditation video, things like that. And finally, and most importantly, I'm so happy that we've been able to take this journey. I think I'm going into 4 years now on this, and this has grown beyond my expectations, and I could have only done that with you. And I really appreciate your support, but more importantly, I'm just happy that you guys are growing and continuing to evolve as light workers and just human beings on this planet. So keep it up, and thank you so much for the support. Much love and success is what I'm wishing you here in this new year. I'll see you very soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.